Alright guys, 2002 Ford Windstar, right here. Now you don't find any of these babies laying around. But anyways, it came into me a week ago. They wanted the air conditioning working. It's been really hot around here. Yeah, it's been getting up into the 90s. Older gal drives it just around town, and I think that's why it survived. But anyways, I checked it out. So the first thing I found, I charged it up to look for some leaks and see what was going on. And I found out that the low speed fan wasn't working. So the AC pressure was climbing right up there, so we had to fix that. It turned out to be a circuit breaker down in that fender well on the driver's side at the resistor for the low speed. So you can't obtain that part anymore. The resistor was still good, so I soldered on a new circuit breaker. So that took care of that. So then, I got the fan working, and we lifted up to look for leaks, and the rear AC lines, there's like 3 or 4 leaks back there. So, go on Parts Deck and try to find parts, or even Amazon. No, there's no lines. I believe these vehicles they're just all gone. But anyways, so what we're gonna do today, let me go get the part. We're gonna put on one of these kits, and that'll block off the back lines. So she'll have air conditioning. She just drives around by herself. She only needs the front. It's going to be totally fine. We just have to, I did look up, and there's an option for with AC, with rear AC and without. So we'll find the one without, find that amount of refrigerant, and get her charged up so she can be cool. So the first thing we want to do is, I don't remember if I left any refrigerant in it, so we're going to hook the machine on, make sure it's empty. And then we'll take, if there's any in there, we'll take it out. And if there's none in there, we'll unhook the machine and then lift it up, put that on, button her up, and then charge her up. So it says right here, front AC only, it's 2 pounds 12 ounces. If it has rear AC, it's 3 pounds 8 ounces. So we don't have to look that up. Well, she did want this oil cap fixed. Here, let me show you what's going on here. I don't know if I have one we can find. I'm pretty sure we probably do. Let me see if we can get this pulled out of there. Let's also hook up this machine. It says on the side right over here. No, it says on the front. Here we go. So this is my machine, and she's quite old. There you go. This piece is cracked up and busted, which I want to get a new one if I could ever find one. But you got to take this whole thing apart. The machine doesn't leak anything, I don't think. I do not like to leave my refrigerant in the tank, so we'll have to fill up as much as we need. And my low side coupler is getting bad. I gotta get a new one. I do a lot of air conditioning now. I'll tighten that back up. So people are just finding out I'm doing air conditioning. I am certified. So I just like this machine. It's so simple. The new 1234YF, the reason them machines suck is because they got to verify that it actually has that refrigerant in there, because I guess people are putting 134A in them with no problems. So you can't mix refrigerants, that's illegal. So I haven't got one of those machines yet, and they're super expensive. I'm just hoping they fade that stuff out. Maybe we need to talk to Trump. Alright, let's find an oil cap for this. Let's get that off of there first. So I think how I'm going to do this is, I don't know. Yeah, that was easy. So we could have just grabbed on the top, but I did not know that. So let's see if we find one. I'm sure this is a 520. Well, I found this one. It doesn't say anything. Nor does it screw on there very good. It does screw on there. Okay, and it's not a vented cap, I don't think. Let's look at the old one. Yeah, that's not vented at all. Let me go check one more spot and see if I have one. Got a bunch of Chevy stuff in here. Clean her off. Alright, let's just grab this one. It looks like this is the low pressure. Grab the... Let's hook this low side up. Gauges on the machine are at 0, so let's just crank this in. There's just a little bit in there, but that's nothing. So it did not charge it up. It went up like a pound. It's just air pressure. Alright, let's lift her up and get those block off kit on there. Alright, let's go over here. So how many lifts are we at this morning? I got a little counter right here, and we're on the K tool. So it's going to be 898. Okay, that's high enough. We didn't hit the ceiling or nothing. We're a ways away from it. We can get under here pretty good now. So yeah, the lines run from right there all the way over here. Looks like some lights have gotten under there. They run all the way back here. And then back here's where we got the problem. Somebody's got a hose clamp on there, and she's all, you know, I checked it for dye, and she's all green. Looks like there's a rust hole there. Okay. So we're going to be working right here. So let's see what happens. And we're going to have to hold that, and I'm going to have to use a wrench. I think the Harbor Freight pliers will work. Yeah, it's not that tight. Alright, let's loosen up this end. Maybe not so much on this one, huh? There we go, we got it. Get these off of here. I wonder if we're going to have to loosen up this to slide these back. Okay. Let's just see if we pry them apart a little bit. That one's a little more stuck. There we go. It's a little crusty there. We are going to have to clean those. block these off, and then we'll just, once we get our kit on there, we'll just tie these up here like that. So I think we'll just use some cap plugs. Got a bunch of those up, and then we'll tape it. Alright, I got one. Alright, there's two. So let's get some tape on those. We'll clean these off and get the fittings on there. It's a little bit tricky. Alright, I'm happy. Alright, let's see if we can find some kind of brush to clean these. Shit, my tape might not even stay on. There's a little crusties right in there. Okay. Alright, I think I found the perfect little wire brush. That looks really good. I'm going to get a different wire brush for that one. That looks good. Alright, let's clean them off with a little brake clean. Alright, found a new can. Douse them up. Okay. Let that drip out. I might get them fittings ready. We'll put a little bit of new oil without dye in it on the seal, on the O-rings. Here, let's put that little one on first. So here, I'm just going to use a little PEG 46 without dye. Just put it on that seal. I'll do the same for the other one. I always do that. I don't know. I think you're supposed to. Alright, now we're going to put that knot on there. Yep, it looks good. I'm going to go get my impact. I have it right here. I just got to get a socket. So we'll go ahead and we can go ahead and put the other one on before we impact that. It's the same thing. I'm just going to drip a little bit of oil on there. There we go. Make sure it's all the way on the seal. Yep, I believe these are the right ones. They were fairly expensive. I had to get them off eBay. Amazon was too expensive, and none of the stores had it. I'm gonna grab that with the pliers. That's good. That's good. All right, let's spray that off again. Some brake clean. I used the pen ray. It's good stuff. All right, I'm gonna go get a tie, and we're gonna tie them out. Okay. What did we say? What did I say I was going to do? I was going to put them right up here. There we go. We can tie them to this line right up here. Go this way. Just something like that. Look at this. There's a piece of rust right there. Yeah, I knew I had my little flush cutters right in my cart. Alright, let's trim that off. There we go. Alright, let's let her down. Let's let her down and vacuum it up and charge it up. I'll show you how easy it is to use that machine. I'm gonna roll this machine over here. So first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and put these on. Our hose is on there. Gonna open these valves. So next, what we want to do is we want to get the machine all ready to go. So I'm going to tip you this way, right there. So to fill my machine, I just watch it here. So we fill this thing up. And what did we say we needed? 2 pounds, 12 ounces. So the first thing I'll do is I'll see how much refrigerant I have in my machine. So I'll go ahead and fill this up. I can hear her, she's running her dry. There's about a pound in there. That's it. There's exactly 1 pound in there. So we need to put more into the machine. So how I do that is right here. So I'll shut this off. That is off. Now we'll go ahead and turn this on. Now we'll open these valves. I have her hooked up to the car, it doesn't matter. We'll switch this to recover. We'll switch this to recover to receiver tank. I don't like to recover into the charge cylinder. And then we'll hit recover. So now we can watch this little eye up here. And I can see the refrigerant in there. And I always leave these valves open because if you mess with them, they'll start leaking. So now periodically I'll just hit this switch until we get to 2 pounds, 12 ounces. Yep, you can see it. So there's a little bit of refrigerant going through that eye. Alright, so there's a PSI gauge right here. And then I rotate this. This has PSI written right here. So we're at about a little bit over 100. So then I watch down here, and then I fill that up to 2 pounds 12 ounces, which is marked right here. This is going up. So we got to rotate this. So we need about 1.5 pounds and 3/4 more, and we'll be ready to go. So I'm gonna put you guys back where you were. All right, I got the charge cylinder at the right amount, so we'll go ahead and shut this off. So first I'll crank the tank closed. We'll let her shut. The machine will click off once it's done recovering. Looks like UPS is here. They must have something for me. Alright, so she just clicked off, so we'll shut all these valves off, shut this valve off. Oh, he's just doing a U-turn. Okay, now we're good to unhook this, and then it'll come out. We'll go ahead and put this cap back on. Shut this off. Get rid of this. Alright, next we're going to want to add a little oil and dye. I use a mixture. So we'll go ahead and pull this off. And we'll untwist this. There we go. Get this ready to go. So we should add about 1 ounce. I know I added some before, so I'm not going to quite add 1 ounce. Not much is all I'm going to add. So I'll close this, and this valve is closed. I'll put this back on. Shut this up. So next, what we want to do is we want to vacuum this down. The system's been open, it's been leaking, it's got moisture in there, it's got air in there right now. So what we do is I'm going to just suck it down through the low side. So I'll leave this valve shut. We'll go ahead and open these. We'll put this back on to recover. Back to the receiver tank. I'll do and now we want to evacuate it. And we're going to evacuate it for about 40 minutes. So here we can watch it for a little while, and then I'll shut off. So this gauge will start going down. So will this one, but you can't read it. So now we're sucking it down to a vacuum. This is going to evacuate all air out of everything. This machine's really good for charging. Alright, she's been about a little over 30 minutes. The gauge on the machine is way down about as far as it ever goes. So what I want to do now is we just want to shut these valves on the machine right here. Shut these valves, shut it off. Now we're just going to let it sit. So this is just going to be an initial test on if it's leaking. If she holds vacuum, we're going to go ahead and charge it up. Pretty sure she will. So we're just going to give that about 10 minutes. So yeah, today is Wednesday. First vehicle of the day. It showed up late. So I started making another video on just, getting the shop up and running and what we're going to do today. So we are going to fix a pressure washer today. And we're looking at a Volkswagen that got hit that hit a deer and seeing if we can get it street legal again. Yeah, it's been pretty busy. I do have one missed appointment for this morning already. So that was for AC and a tune-up. He said his truck wasn't starting right, so thinks he needs a tune-up, but I don't know. It's probably a purge valve. And the air conditioning wasn't working. So, yeah, and then I put a hose reel on, and I collect all my AC evaporator coil water that drips off there, the condensation, into a barrel back there so it don't drain on my floor. And I bought a little shallow well pump, and I almost got that running. I need to put a check valve in it. I don't know why the pump doesn't have a check valve, but it back feeds when it builds up pressure and shuts off. All the water back feeds through the inlet. So I'm having a little trouble with that. Once I get all that figured out, I'm going to hook it into the main water in here. Alright, yeah, we're looking good. It's not leaking down, so let's just fill her up, so I'll show you what we do. So, remember, we put an ounce of oil in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch this machine to charge AC with refrigerant. So we'll switch that down. Now we're going to open the oil cylinder here. So we'll open that valve. And the machine's already loaded with the refrigerant, but I'm going to check to make sure she's right up there where we want. 2 pounds 12 ounces. We're at 2 pounds 13 ounces, so we're good there. So next, I'm going to put the refrigerant in on the high side. So I'm just going to open this, and you can hear her going in there. So I'm just going to watch this down here and see how much it goes in. You can see the hose wiggling. Alright, so we got in about almost a pound now. So I'll just let that go in until she stops. Alright, so we got a little bit over a pound to go, so we'll go ahead and shut this valve off. We're done with that one. I'm just going to verify that this is correct, because it seems like that's a lot of refrigerant. So it's 2 pounds 12 ounces, that's what it says. Alright, so next I want to start it up, turn the air conditioning on, turn the recirculation on, turn the blower on high. And I'm going to come out here and we're going to make sure that pressure ain't getting too high. So watch this gauge. If it could go up to about here, but if it starts going over here, that's too much. Alright, there's the compressor just turned on a little bit. Yep, she's low, so now I'm going to open up the low side, and now she's going to suck her in. Alright, there's a fan just turned on, alright. Our high pressure came down. Got about 3/4 of a pound left to go. So I'm just trickling it in on the low side when it's running. Okay, I left an ounce in there because that's, we had 1 ounce too much. Alright, so next, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the car. Our pressures are running good, our fans are both running, that's perfect. So what I'm going to do, now I'm going to open, no, I'm going to close the high pressure coupler. So now, I'm going to come over to my machine, and I'm going to open the high pressure here. So now I'm going to trickle all that in, so that's going to suck it all out of my hoses and go in there. So when these two gauges equalize, that means I'm ready to go to the next step. Alright, she's coming down good now. We're just trickling it in. Alright, got the valve all the way open, so once this evens out, we'll do the next step. It's going to be really quick. Alright, that's good. So now we're going to come back to the car. I'm going to remove the both side coupler. And now I'm going to I'll go put the temperature gauge in there, and then we're going to shut her off, let the system even out, and then we'll take the high side coupler off. Alright, I'm going to bring you guys over there so you can watch. So I don't know if you guys can read that. She's at 49. 48. She's ice cold in there. Alright, good enough for me. Alright, now we're going to let the system even out and remove that high side coupler and be done with it. Yeah, so the wind picked up and it's blowing all my flags around. So I can hear it kind of hissing in there. That's going by the orifice tube or the... I think this one's got an orifice tube. It could have an expansion valve, but that's the refrigerant just going by it. The system's equalizing both sides right now, so as soon as that equalizes, this will have, I'm assuming it's going to have just a little less than 100 psi on it. Alright, I think we're good. So let's take this coupler off and then we'll get the machine ready for next time. Yeah, not bad at all. They just leave this one dangle. Alright, let's get the machine ready for next time. So what I'm going to do, move this one back to recover to receiver tank, depressurize charge cylinder, open both of these valves, and recover. So now she's drawing this tank down and the hoses. Then the little light here will shut off when it's ready. So yeah, this machine makes it really easy. There, she's done. We'll shut all these valves. Shut this off. We can separate the oil. So I'll turn this up for just a couple seconds, maybe just one. Yep. Now we'll go drain oil. There's a little tank over here where the oil goes in if it sucked any out. We did not suck any out, so we're good. Alright, the machine is ready for next time. I always leave my little thermometer in there. I'm going to go grab it. Nope, I didn't. It's right here. I lose these once in a while. I'll come back a year later and I'll find it in the customer's vehicle. So that's it. That's all it was here for. I'll figure out what that brake light is and if it's safe to drive. But anyways, yeah, so it's really easy to do the air conditioning. We're going to get this lady back on the road. It's hot outside. I'm going to shut, after this car, I'm shutting the doors and turning the air on. Alright guys, I hope you guys are working hard on Wednesday. Having a good day, and thanks for watching. You can catch me next time.